right, let's get the show on the road. You guys see the screen, everything is running. Let's go. Let's go, let's go. All right, so not much has changed actually since yesterday's close. I mean, you can see we opened up with a rather tame market today. No proper gaps, no nothing, just kind of a regular, very tame open. So right now it's boring, but it's starting to form a little bit of a downwards action, right? So we're starting to form more of this correction to the downside. We can see that from the smaller time frames. Hello, everybody. Johnny, Danny, just hit play. Hello. Never. I don't think I've seen you here before. My financial advice again. All right, then you've been here before. No financial advice. Sorry. You're not gonna get that here. So we're starting to form on the smaller time frames more or less this bearish movement. So it seems like we're gonna move rather shortly to the downside, one way or another. We can assume very clearly those the 5,500 support. We have a bit of a range there, so not surprising. It's kind of, it's almost an artificial minefield, if you will, because it's created from a bottom of a gap and a ceiling of a gap, and you have the range in between them, and it's very narrow. I mean, just $5, so not that surprising. Very much we can assess that we're gonna see the price action not dragging us to the downside. Let's look at 30 minutes. 30 minutes actually has a little bit more bullish juice to squeeze out right here. So we can assess we're going to move roughly. There is this, I'm going to eyeball, there is some sort of a support here, or a resistance, if you will, something probably intraday. I'm going to believe it. I believe it's probably an intraday level. So we see we probably have a little bit more juice to squeeze out here on the 30 minutes. Let's assume we're going to be done with it in the next hour and a half-ish, to give or take. So in about an hour and a half to, what do we see? Let's see. Again, yesterday we said the hourly is still very bullish, and the 45 minutes implying that potentially we're going to see, oh, so finally we're starting to see the hourly waking up a little bit, right? So starting to squeeze the juice out of this bullish momentum that we've generated and sort of rested a little bit. You can see it's picking up, right? You can see it actively is changing as we go based upon how high it gets, how quickly, basically. So right now it seems the market at least is attempting to move towards already with a well-familiar range, resistance, if you will, at this stage, 5,500, 55.55. So that seems where we're going to go. Let's first see if the price action is going to make it all the way to that level and how much juice we will have to squeeze out on that front, because as we know, 4 hours is more dominant over the hour, and there we are still just getting bearish. This is just becoming bearish. What we're seeing here is more of this interval procedure, something very normal. And also coincidentally, what we're testing here is the ceiling of this previous gap. So that's not all that surprising that we went all the way through. They made some, well, we have other gaps to close there. We still have these leftovers from before, the new one made. But now it seems the market is really testing this as a floor. You can almost recognize that's what's going on. And what we're saying, we're going to see this price action going up, potentially going up, we said yesterday, to 55.84, squeezing out most of the juice on the 1 hourly, right? What we see here on the 1 hour. On the 4 hour, we realize that this is just a small sort of interval process in between, while we already made it to the oversold territory. And as you know, on the 4 hour charts, these are longer term procedures, and when we do make it to oversold territory, we might spend there quite a significant amount of time. For example, last time we tested low was 2 weeks inside, not including weekends, that we've spent on the downslope, and that actually amplified the effect. You can see right here in the price action, that was how it looked previous time. So we can assess similarly so this time around it's not going to be any different, just bring us slightly lower than before. This is kind of how the crab gets boiled, as we said, right? More so we can see this process is not linear, right? Even the process itself, oftentimes when we go to the downside, we have corrections, and we continue going to the downside. So right now it seems like we're building a very similar structure, but we are basically making new lower highs. So basically it's a high point that is lower than the previous one. Okay, very simple. Now, Let's move to the 4 hours. 4 hours, we can actually see that we're moving even further to the downside. It's even more bearish than before. In other words, this is why, if those who watched yesterday know, our assessment is not just closing that gap, but making it all the way towards the next range, which is around 5,300. We have another tiny little gap there to close. So this sort of signifies and signals to us that we actually have enough bearish momentum in the barrel, although if we just want to clear all that up, so that for that to make sense, let me just clean it up. Right, so what we're actively seeing is basically a movement to the downside, like we said, similar to this. Now we're having this correction, right? We've already seen the change. We were covering this from the beginning, if you will. You can watch the videos from before. Unceremoniously and uncoincidentally, so we're doing it on top of a previous gap, on top of a previous ceiling, if you will, something that is already known to us. And then we potentially jumping off a little bit and bouncing back down, seeing this momentum on a longer sort of range of things. We potentially going to see a more steeper slope on the sort of, you know, taking charge very, very soon once we move into oversold territory. So this is because it's daily, it potentially shows us more time, allows us to predict more candlesticks. In other words, allows us to predict a longer duration and price action, okay, which makes total sense in the context of things that we're seeing. Let's continue onwards. I want to finish the time frames as quick as possible so we can continue going to the weekly. Okay. Now, weekly is actually a bit confusing. We spoke about this yesterday and a couple of days before. Prior to this little change, what we had, the weekly showing, is basically this formation. You had the bullish momentum, the K being dominant, the D being recessive, but a structure that was clearly pointing to the upside, meaning it almost looked as if we're going just clear to the upside. And I've explained this before. These structures, these sort of changes, these processes that we do in between, oftentimes you realize when we do hit sort of the intended target, if you will, we do spend quite a bit of time in overbought or oversold territory. The argument would be, well, say, Greg, we're just moving up. That's not always consistent. Sometimes we do that on the downslope. It's kind of depends on what type of move we're making on the overall market, because there's a bigger cycle in things, if you will. You can almost notice there's this prolonged trend that works almost like this. You can almost see how we break down to the downside, and most people just keep up with the up and down movement and try to work off of that, but that is incorrect. You can see throughout this entire movement, although moving up and down confusing people, generally it was an up wave. Okay, so this does not, it's more like a seismograph, and it allows you to read the current movements based upon supports and resistances, so it all works in the context of something. It's not just up in the air, just to have like a better, clearer idea of things. Now, let's continue here. So what I'm saying here, wow, the reason I'm explaining this is what you're seeing here potentially is not as bullish as it seems. My projection here is that actually it's going to go down. And remember, the reasoning for that is that we're going to go to adjacent time frames. We're going to realize that if this is going to create more downwards action, it's going to come through here on the weekly. Instead of being bullish, it's going to be more bearish. If we're going to look at the weekly, we're going to realize that we're sitting on top, basically being boiled for quite a long time and about to switch. In fact, we already switched over. Just to kind of show you, we have already switched over. Just let me delete that. We have already switched over, right? So we're basically already bearish. It's just that it takes a little amount of time right now until you're actually going to see the price action yielding results that are going to look a lot more bearish according to that sort of structure that we're building. It takes a long time. I want you to understand that this structure, being in overbought territory, took us 460 days, call it, not including weekends, call it a year and a half. Well, a year and a half, yeah, basically. So, yeah, give or take. So, in reality, these processes can take a long time, I'm not even including here, so the process of sort of going from oversold territory, so the up climb altogether, that took us altogether, well, you can clearly see almost, well, you call it 2 years. Without weekends, that's actually 2 years easily. So what you have here, these processes can take a long time. For example, once we move into when we start moving to actually downwards into the body and getting into oversold territory, if we measure the previous trend, like all in all, let's say from this entire thing, right? This is what we're trying to measure. That was 486 days, again, not including weekends. You have there a year and a half, right? So you can see basically these processes are quite prolonged. The same way we can expect that this process that's going to happen here, even if it's going to be linear, non-linear, doesn't matter. What it's going to take is going to be very, very long for us to see the actual outcome of that thing. So what we're seeing here on the weekly is kind of misleading, right? This thing is somewhat misleading. All right, now that we got that into the hang of things, I mean, we can as always cover the 3 months. That is that basically does something very similar. Right now looks very bullish, but in reality we know it's a representation of a downtrend. Will switch over shortly, as we've seen on the smaller time frames. Will come through once this time frame will get locked eventually, right? Which will happen in about 25 days and 7 hours, basically this session and 25 more days. We're going to see more likely, just like what we saw in the smaller time frames, these forces converge, and what we'll have is basically the red, the D take dominance, representing, you might as well read it as having a bearish momentum, being dominant. In other words, the price action will be breaking down, and something very sort of easy, very distinct to see. You can see the sizes of the candlesticks shrinking. Basically, we're running out of momentum to the upside. We're just kind of slowly running out. And just also don't forget, we've already seen this body, which represents the movement to the downside. Okay, so we're starting to see these bodies already, instead of being open to the upside, being open to the downside. Okay, now that we're clear on that, let's continue. 6 months. 6 months, by the way, is almost confusing, something I've explained yesterday. You see this uptrend entirely representative of this just small little knob. So very shortly, if we expect the price action to break down on a smaller time frame, subsequently bringing the monthly and the quarterly time frames, or an indicator that allows us to see the momentum in real time, break down to the downside, indicating of more correction, deeper movement, and thus giving us more of a lower price action, basically potentially bringing us to these 4,800 ish area that I'm expecting. Maybe 5,000 we're still going to get stuck on. It really depends. 5,000 is inevitably going to be a very, very strong support level. I doubt we're going to slip through. Even if we slip through the 5,000 in the first run, it's not going to be straightforward. That means we're going to slice through it and come back to retest it. I highly doubt we're just going to let 5,000 just be real quick. Of course, let's see us breaking all the supports and resistances as we make our way towards it. What else? Okay, let's see. Let's watch the price action. Let's see what the price action is doing for the time being. Funny enough, we just opened up a tiny little gap, as we had this little rally that happened here. Interesting. So all in all, like we said, here we're starting to build that downwards momentum, but that doesn't matter, because that's not gonna take for too long. As we said, the 1 minute sort of switches over back and forth many times. But what we are seeing is this conversion of these forces, and basically this is a further away point of view of this, if you will, to put it in simple terms, right? So what we are seeing is just the beginning. What we can see on the 1 minute is just the beginning, although it seems as if it's a full movement. It is, but on the 1 minute scale. On the 5 minute scale, what we actually see is something else. What we see here is that this is just building up. Okay? Now, let's see if you guys have any questions. Let's watch this as we go. See how wrong or right was I, if at all. Let's see. So we can kind of view the forecast in real time, if you will. All right. So good afternoon. Good afternoon, Danny. Indeed. Thank you. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever you guys have, wherever you're at. Hope you guys are having a peaceful, calm, nice day. Hey, what's the plan? We're all ears. Michael. I mean, the plan is whatever you decide it to be. I'm just here to tell you what the technicals are showing, right? You do your own decision making. No one will manage your portfolio better than you will. We're all here, big boys and girls. Thank you for that, Michael. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Um, Fix out bank accounts. What do you mean? Brad the legend, of course. You're buying high, selling low. Yes, Michael, that's very logical. You buy here, you buy here, and you sell, and you capitulate here. That's the right way to go about things. Oh my god, I gotta say you're awesome. I had just this encounter earlier uh, with you might as well call neighbors and making a lot of noise. Really got me off my rocker today. Got my mood kind of got me upset a little bit. I wouldn't lie, but you guys are so awesome. You just completely help shrug it all off. It's just insane how awesome you guys are. Hope we're gonna have fun hang out today in the Discord. I have some cool news, by the way. Those who are gonna stay a couple more minutes, I have cool news. I mean, to those who are interested and who wants to pay taxes and realize gains. That's insanity, Michael. I mean, the whole thing with I'm not gonna go into that right here. If we want to talk about that, gonna be more than happy discussing this on Discord. Shalom, shalom, bratan. No, bratya, еврей. Murat is awesome. I'm just reading out what Murat says on Russian. Let's go. All right. Smash the like button. Right. I forgot to say that. Ladies and gents, smash the like button. I tremendously appreciate it if you do. Subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Those who want to join the Patreon, maybe I'll show it a little bit later, but that's not the news. What the news is all about. The Patreon is only for people who really want to join the members, be able to join the Zoom calls and all that wonderful stuff we have for the members partition. It's very similar to the public. It's just maybe a little bit more advanced, if you will, to put in simple terms. The links are in the description below. So let me see. I think I changed the colors on those two lines. Yeah, Johnny, I've changed it on the bottom to make it simpler for you guys to read. It's simpler. Green is bullish, right? And red is bearish. Really, this indicator doesn't work at all the way I describe it. It doesn't at all work in form of bearish bullish. It's more of a moving average in linear form of it considers volume and price. Well, volume is the liquidity price change over these periods of time. Stochastic basically makes it divided by 3 times the average. So this is how we get. So the red is an average of the green, just to put it in, just for it to be really, really like to understand it. And that's how we basically get bearish, become dominant when the bullish breaks down. That's to really describe it in simple terms. But still, we might as well read into it as bullish and bearish. That's the most convenient way to put it in the simple terms. So I changed the color just for it to be more readable to you guys. When red is dominant, you might as well see that as a downslope or a bearish momentum, right? Bearish force. And when the green is dominant or on top, being dominant, I mean on top, like that, right? So this is bullish dominant, this is bearish dominant. This is the difference. Here you have that convergence and divergence process to really describe what's going on. Can you do until Brad? We just done it yesterday. Watch yesterday's video. No, I refuse to, Brad. No, I refuse to. We've done it yesterday. Here it is. I refuse to do technical analysis on it. There's nothing to do on it. It's going down. I told you yesterday. Same thing. Nothing changed. Come on, Brad. You have to be more attentive. You can't be making me repeat myself. That's not a good thing. Me don't like repeating myself for no good reason. Right. So the news. I don't. We don't really have a lot of people. We don't really have a lot of people. I'm thinking. There is a plan. I'm gonna. Should I announce? Should I? Shouldn't I? Okay. So the announcement is simple. I'm reopening the academy due to schedule changes. My plan was I wasn't planning to reopen it that soon because of well, I was planning to have some little bit more rest, and I have had some plans, but due to how things are working out here right now in Israel, I've decided I'm gonna reopen the academy. So my academy right now will have 2 spots available for the public members, and 2 spots we're gonna start light. I'm gonna see how my schedule works out with if that works out well. 2 spots for the public members and 2 spots for the members, if you will, for the Patreons and so forth. So the academy is officially reopened. 2 spots each side, right? Once these are filled, the academy will get locked again. The only way to sign up to the academy is to get in touch with me via Discord, right? The link is in the description to the Discord. It's Tom Nash's Discord, same one. You get in touch with me, you DM me, okay? That's how we get started. We have a little short conversation, a bit of a Q&A. You get to ask questions about the course, any information you want to know. And if you like, we can get a schedule done and we proceed from there on forward. All right? That is that. Right, so Brad, I know it was you. Tesla going against the market. Let's see. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla didn't. Again, nothing changed. I hate to say it. Expanding. If you've seen my video from yesterday, again, I refuse to do analysis on it. No, I'm just kidding. But really, there's nothing to do. It's the same thing from yesterday. Nothing really has changed. You need to understand that the analysis that we do on the sort of 1 minute, 2 minute, 4 minute chart is not indicative to anything that that's what you guys feel on the daily basis, but it's not indicative to the overall movement. The overall movement, for example, is clearly to the downside. The fact that you're having a breather and you're entangled with this resistance that we've been with for a very long time, since forever, if you will, right? It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter right now that you see people are excited, Greg, you're wrong. Look, we're above that line. It doesn't matter. The daily minutia doesn't matter. This is just how the market works, right? Those are trades. It's kind of, in fact, that is not indicative of anything good for you, because if the institutions know, and they probably do, of what I know, they're kind of right now getting rid of the boiling the crab the same way. Again, lower highs all the time. Nothing has changed. You can argue that, yeah, we've broken the pattern, but let's see, this is far too early to say. And if we're going to look at the indicators are still pointing to the downside. Meaning, again, what you're seeing here is a bit of a breather, right? The same way we were going to the upside and you had a breather kind of, well, here or here, right? You have these intervals in between that basically sort of opposed to where the direction of the market is, right? They are short term. Overall, it doesn't change the general direction of the trend. The trend is your friend. Very simple. Don't fight it. You're not going to be successful. That's for sure, right? So the trend is to the downside, and you have a bit of a breather. Take it for what it is, and don't overstay your welcome. It still is a downtrend. It's still going to look something akin to this probably. So that's Tesla. Nothing really changed. Plus, Tesla is highly affected by the indices and vice versa. So what you are seeing right now, although is very nice, very impressive, that goes to show there's a lot of volume going on into Tesla. Well, it doesn't even have to be a lot. It can be a small amount of volume, relatively speaking, but relative to what the market is doing, you can almost recognize that the overall market, the S&P, is having low volume, because even though the movement on the market is rather big or not, you should have seen a more significant change on the S&P, and because you're not seeing it, that means a small amount of volume on Tesla individually can sort of outfight, if you will, right, outbuy the sellers or the selling momentum that is coming through the indices. So this is actually this is pretty impressive. On a day that if the S&P and the indices overall would have been more permissive, this would have been insane. This would have brought you all the way to 260 easy. Which, by the way, might be that we're going to move very close to it. The market seems right now it might want to be closing that gap right here that we're seeing. And that might be it because we've already penetrated into it. You can see the gap started. I'll just sort of mark the gap so you can see where it is, right? The gap is from here to, so downside, that's, well, should be here. Let's see. Yeah, that's the same price action. You see, the reason this gap still exists there in the market, well, you're going to say, well, Greg, there's a candlestick there. Right, that candlestick happened during the post-market. So if we're going to go into, instead of extended hours, we're going to go into regular trading hours, right? It's going to look very different. You're suddenly going to see the gap, even on the 4 hours. See? Same way we can go to the 1 hour chart. We can see this. I mean, look at this. Pretty distinct. So we already tried to close this gap partially and already stumbled upon this resistance that we're stumbling on right now. You can already see it right here. All right? Just for things to make a little sense to you guys. All right? All right. All right, all right. So that's Tesla. Let's go back to the S&P. Yeah, what we thought we might see, some of that bullish action coming through on the hourly. Let's see what the hourly is doing. That's kind of what where we saw that, right? So we're curious about that. Very steep. Let's look at the chat. Let's go. Leo Hill. Leo, what did you say? What did I miss there? All right, got it. Thanks. All right, expanding, we're good. Leo, as long as it's not, I mean, you can, in fact, you might call me, if you really want to call me an idiot, you can do that. As long as you do it in the right way, I don't mind. I might be wrong. Remember, none of this is financial advice. It's just the meandering thoughts of some dude on the internet. So at the end of the day, it's all up to you to decide. Okay, now that I have a second, maybe, just because I have a second, I'm gonna abuse this second, and I'm gonna go to the Patreon. So people who don't necessarily want to join the Academy yet, maybe that's some big on them. The Academy is expensive or whatever, which is not. It is actually, if you ask me, it's absolutely goddamn free at this point. But let me just bring on this beautiful thing. This beautiful thing is the Patreon, which I don't know why it's showing 75. It's not 75 spots. There's a lot less right now. I don't know why it's still showing 75. It's bugged. There's a lot less. It's only $10 and allows you to have access to the Discord, which let me brag my Discord in right there, right? Here is my beautiful Discord, and Tom's Discord as well. All there. We have the public area, but what the members does, well, when you join in, you make sure you do confirm, like this wonderful man says, confirm this. I mean, read this. It's kind of important to know. Then confirm this, and then you'll be privy to everything else. Not everything, just the public part, right? Just kind of this area. And if you are a member, what you need to do is go to the FAQ, frequently asked questions, and go to here. Use this link. You see the go to, right? It says go to, not this one, this one. And then it will take you to Patreon. Connect your accounts, your Patreon and Discord, right? Once they are connected, you will switch over from public into members. Those who are members of my academy are also privy to these channels, and well, they're privy to the academy. I teach one-on-one. Right here is the academy. We have the sessions right here in this channel, of course, on with each person in their scheduled time. It's one-on-one, just like it suggests so in the name. That's it. So yeah, get in touch with me, DM me. I'm right here. If you don't know how to turn this list on, you press this little thingy, the two little people, the show members list. You see that appears, and then you can find me. I'm right here on the top. You can see my profile is all animated and all sorts of cool stuff, just like Tom's. Right, our profiles are animated. They all have all sorts of cool stuff going on. You see, there's Leo. You also should have this, you see, all shiny and stuff and stuff and stuff. So don't get fooled by scammers. Very important to note. Now that we've done with self-promotion and all wonderful stuff like that, let's go back to a bunch of shameless plugs. Let's go back to the chart. Let's see what the chart is doing. So we're nearing to the 5, just like I suggested yesterday. Here we are squeezing all that juice to the upside. Let's see how much of that juice we will retain as we go. In the time being, let's focus on your questions, ladies and gents. What's going on? Why is my live not live? Is it live? It's not live. Is it live? All right. Can you go over the academy overview? Is this for long option? No, I don't, Leo. I don't deal with options at all. I teach technical analysis. I teach far more in-depth tools, how and why you use particular tools, how to verify that what you're measuring is correct, strategies that are involved, all sorts of things of that nature. Basically, I teach you all the skills that are necessary to do what I'm doing without me. That's the whole intention. More so when you're done, by becoming, when you become an academy member, if you go through the academy with me, you sign up, you go to the academy, you basically become a lifetime member in our Discord. Meaning you're going to have access to the Zoom calls and all that wonderful stuff, hangouts that I have with my members. You get a lot more access to me as a member because I hang out in the Discord and the members chat pretty much all day. When I'm not with one-on-one students, if I do a session, I will be located here. If I'm not on a session, I will be located here as such with other members, just conversing and hanging out. All right, so that's going to be where I'm going to be at. That's part of the perks of the members. This channel is not visible for the public. In the public, we have their own voice chats, right? We do hang out with the public. We do open the Zoom calls for our members, for our public members as well. It's just that we open the Zoom calls for the public members once a month, maybe sometimes twice, depending on how, how urgent whatever is going on. But our Patreon members or Academy members get to participate in, well, 4 or 3, or depending how many of these we'll have, sometimes 5, sometimes even 6, depending on the month, depending on what's going on. So we do one every week, and sometimes there are, extra calls. Let's say last time we had a very long, almost 4-hour long recorded call you can find on my channel. It's a live that we've covered, and we listened to NVIDIA's earnings calls together, earnings call, and we spoke about it a little bit. We've covered the technicals. We watched the technicals and the market afterwards. We've kind of done this hangout, right? Normally, only the members will be privy to that. This time around, we've decided to do it for everybody because Tom was just, on vacation, and I was about to take a vacation, or just we were kind of in between. So we've decided to do that instead. Is doing problems. What is OBS doing? Guys, are you seeing me? Is everything working? Has my OBS studio stopped working? I'm not sure what's going on. Are you guys still seeing me, or are you not seeing me? Are you seeing the screen? Not seeing the screen? Stuff is moving. Ladies and gents, I need to inform me. I get no audio or video for a few seconds, but is it fine now, Gene? But now it's fine, Leo? Guys, it's good now? Boys and girls? We're good? Yeah, all right. All right, just OBS went a bit crazy there for a second. So what's up? So questions. What are we doing? Let's see if we have any questions before we go back to the charts. Although you can see the chart in the time being, there's not much going on. Pretty much everything we've expected since yesterday. The market hitting off, moving it toward 5, testing it potentially. Although, I mean, look, on the 30 minutes, we were already like quite hot there. So, all right. I see everything's fine. Michael, Ugendra. All right, Ugendra. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Didn't see you on the last couple of lives. Good to see you, brother. Let's see, what else are we doing? Any questions, anything before we go on? No questions. All right, so we're gonna. Oh, you see, this is this is a let's see, this is maybe a W. I don't know, a crooked ass pattern, as we call it. You're fine. Yeah, we're only seeing the chart. Yeah, I mean, I'm only showing the chart right now. I want questions, ladies and gents. While we're watching the price action, which is interesting because I mean, what we are seeing here in the 30 minutes starts to break down that hourly pattern. Might be something akin to this, and then eventually, subsequently, let's see what's going on here. Interesting. Of course, that's applicable to the 30 minutes, not to the 1 hour. What we're seeing and waiting here. Of course, 45. Questions, ladies and gents. We have no questions. What's going on? You're rather soft on the questions side of things. Like I said, no surprise. We're gonna test. We're gonna move and probably retest 110 on Nvidia now. How do you feel about Mara? I mean, we can take a look at Mara, Brad. No, not a problem. Let's take a look at Mara. I don't feel any special way about Mara other than that I think there are better places to put your money in right now, if you ask my opinion. I'll go, all right. John, damn, oh my God, John, are you here? Damn it, I forgot to look at John yesterday. Wanted me to look at Tom Lee's picks. My God, I forgot. I'm such an ass. John, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. Show up for the next one. I promise you, you're gonna be the first one. I'm gonna go over your what you wanted me to look at. Mara. That looks not great. I mean, well, actually, interesting. I mean, it has an uptrend here, clear, distinct uptrend within a rather flat trend, because that just kind of sucks, which makes sense. I mean, we can. That was probably. No, that's not. Right, that was. Huh. So that was that. That was it. That was the thing. The unnamed thing. The thing we don't want to name. Yeah, no, just like I suspected. I mean, you're probably gonna break down, you see what happens here, that your long-term trend that you're seeing here on the weekly becomes your short-term trend on the monthly. You see what's going on, right? It's the same one. And you're testing median right now. That's the maiden line. It is like Iron Maiden. You're not gonna break it. It is. I mean, it will break you. So yeah, that's. I mean, look, you have this and you have this, and call it a coincidence, but I don't call it a coincidence. I call it you're going down. I call it you, sir, are gonna get demolished here. I think you're gonna break this short-term trend, and you're gonna break into the long-term one as such, like this. I mean, probably, it's not gonna be straightforward. Probably gonna test some important levels right here. There's an in-between level. There's a mean. Anyway, yeah, there's like stuff you're gonna test here. But wait, that's minus. What the f am I talking about? What the f am I talking about? God damn it! I didn't even notice it's so low. Yeah, no, you're going low. You're basically you're gonna get effed with this if you're gonna stay in this. You're going with the correction. You're gonna get effed very, very badly. I just exaggerated there, went a bit too crazy. But no, you're gonna get yeah, you're gonna get pounded with this one. Sorry. This is not gonna be pleasant to you. You're basically going to the lowest lows that you can imagine, to put it in simple terms. So it's gonna suck for you very bad. You're going here. I mean, best case scenario, you're probably gonna get caught with this one because there's obviously something there. But you're going low. I mean, you're going low. You are going very low with the correction. Right now, I mean, you want to know what's going to hold you up first? Of course, that's going to hold you up. You're going to test this, which is where you're at right now. Then if you're going to look at the monthly, what you're going to test, well, that's the bottom of the channel. Shit. So that's going to be like diagonal. Like that. Wait, why am I hearing myself? Am I on Discord? Yeah, I'm on Discord. I forgot. Right. Almost had Tim make noise. Tim, I love you much, brother. So yeah, no, you're going down. You're gonna go down. It's gonna be ugly. There is obvious supports and resistances here. There's like the path is not straightforward, but this is not pleasant for you. So get ready to get pounded. Let's see what Tim is saying. Tim is saying, I laugh at you. You laugh at me. No, you don't laugh at me. I laugh at me. Ha 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 ha. Tim. I hope Tim is here. Shout out to Tim if he's here. Brother from another mother. All right, let's go back to the chat. You're gonna lose your underwear in this one. Okay, so we've covered Mara. Brad, don't look at Mara. Mara is bad. Steer away from Mara. Bad news is good news, or market doesn't care about any news. Bad news is bad news, pretty much right now. Is it possible for you to cover Avgo? Right, you asked Avgo. Right. Avgo, let's do Avgo for you, brother. Let's see what's going on with Avgo. Oh, nice. I mean, that's impressive. Looking at this from this point of view, that's impressive. That is impressive. That's quarterly. I see you had a miss there, right? Yeah, right. I mean, Avgo, right? I mean, Gandra, you looking at this, brother? It is not good for you. It is gonna cause you big pain in the bum. It is gonna be unpleasant. You are moving down. You're already starting the turnaround. Your median short-term trend, and please give me long-term trend. Hello, woo. Work thing work. What do I don't have. Oh, there we go. I thought for a second there I don't have enough candles. No, man, you're going down. Everything that is market correlated is going to go down. Why do we assess that? Because we assess that the market is going to go down, right? If we're going to look at larger time frames to get an idea on everything, we know this is pointed down very heavily, and this is years because every candlestick is a year. This is pseudo up. It's actually going to correct down. Why? Because all the shorter ones, once flipping over, they're going to affect the larger ones, and it's going to come through. The monkey haven't even started yet. We're just at the cusp of the threshold of the pain. We haven't even actually got any real pain. Like all that excitement and crying that people are, doing, we're still at the cap of things. We're at the absolute edge. If this is the spear, we're still at the absolute edge of it. So people are really underestimating how well we still have it. And yes, the market can go very, very low. And in fact, we can go below this point, the unspoken thing, move into the ranges I'm saying, to the 3,300 levels. and the market will not, the rest of the market, individual assets will not hit the same lows we were on here. Why? Because these companies grew since. Conditions will be better. The outlook will be better. It's not going to be as straightforward. To the half moon, to the, what is that? SQQQ is not having a pleasant day today. SQQQ is definitely not having a blast. I don't mind. I'm planning to buy more anyway, so for me, that's actually a party. Party! It is a SQQQ party, and don't forget the fact that it's doing a low, it is still a higher low, retaining a trend to the upside, as you can tell right there. You see? There's a higher low, you see? Higher low. Higher, very high, low. All right. We've done that. Good. Ladies and gents, any questions about anything before we continue? Or go back, actually? Because that's what we were doing. We were looking at that stuff. Oh, sorry, again. Let's look at all that beautiful stuff. Alrighty. NVIDIA at 100, not yet, but I mean NVIDIA's support, like we said, it's 110. You see, it's making its way back, right? We said that you see it's testing that level, and soon it's gonna probably get rejected, maybe even test. Like just an assumption, just really not based on anything, just giving you how the market can work. In fact, it can work as well, just like this. It can be. We're already been halfway, 105, 100. It's very significant. Don't forget that this is 10 times multiplied. So this is 1,000, right? So this is 1,000 and 1080, if you will. NVIDIA 1080, haha. So, yeah. So 100 is 1,000. And that differential, that is a significant differential right there as well, within itself. Could you break down Tesla technicals? I already did, Joshua, look back. You'll have to rewind and watch. Sorry. It's the same thing with the rest. I'm not going to do. Please don't make me repeat myself. It's impressive and all that. Nice rally. I showed here we're inside the gap. We might be closing the gap. We hit previous resistance. You see that resistance? You see that? Where we're at? You see it's the same one as here. So not so weird. We do have some upwards momentum potentially closing this gap, but overall it doesn't change the fact of the matter that we've been retaining this downwards trend, and I want to see that it being broken properly. And just for the sake of the argument, you need to understand that the indicator is still pointing to the downside. In other words, it will break down. So there's not much to cover. It's like the rest. No, not your bad. Not your bad, Josh. It's all good. Just hate reanalyzing the same stock in the span of 10 minutes. I hope you understand that. What did I miss there? SQQQ. Alec. Sorry, I missed your question there. Sorry. What's up? What are we doing? What's going on? Ladies and gents. I love this chat. You guys are awesome. I don't have any annoying trolls or anything today. Supple. Nick. Hello. VIX is getting crushed. Seismograph. Yes, the seismograph today is on the which makes sense because today the market is not all that volatile, right? That makes sense. Plus, we said we do have a gap on the VIX right there. Need to get closed. You see? Remember? We spoke about this yesterday. VIX really does not like having gaps, like at all. And this is a gap. VIX is really opposed to gaps. In fact, I already detect there's another tiny little gap right there. Like this. So that's another motivator for the market to close the gap. We have another motivator right there. Right? So yeah. There's one there and it got closed. I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna be surprised that you've seen that got closed. So that's good. And now we have this. I see why the market is also. I see why the market is so sketchy today, and I see. I see it all makes sense. There's so many gaps. Oh no, that's closed. That's closed. We got that done. So wait, I got too far. So anything below that point probably is closed, right? So let's call it that. Yeah, I think we've marked all the motivators. We just kind of, yeah. These are redundant, so we have about 3 gaps there to be closed, not including that bottom one. So you have about 4 gaps that market probably really want to have get closed real soon. That is that. All right. What else? What else? What else? Any questions, ladies and gents, as I'm going to be taking off? Average time. But it doesn't work like that. There is no time. Stop asking me about time. Every time you really get me upset every time you ask me about time. We're not here to time the market. We're here to look for what the market is going to do. We can get some assessment to how long certain things will take, but I'm not doing options because I don't want to be subject to time. Time is not a problem of mine. I don't do options. Time is a problem for people who do options. That is no, you don't have to delete, Brad. Come on, don't take me that seriously. You know I love you a lot, but oh, Johnny crowd, right. Sorry, you're right. Actually, I had CrowdStrike open somewhere. No, I didn't look at CrowdStrike in a long time. Although I have a dedicated video, you can watch it. It was just recent from or a recent video, relatively speaking. But since you want to have some technical analysis over the thing, I mean, channel daily, where no wonder we're having this crossroad situation. So it's testing bot. Okay, so you broke the longer duration trend, beating into shorter term downwards. Yeah, you're doing the thing here. I mean, yeah, you have not looking good for you. Earnings were a blast, I see. Right. Earnings were a blast, and you're still going down, which doesn't make sense to you all in all. And you're like, what the hell? Yeah. Oh, here we're seeing what I just said. We will see. Very very probable that formation. So the same way we have these. I'm gonna have bearish take force soon, bringing you out of this, making this the resistance, and testing into the So yeah, you're not gonna have a fun time, as you can see right there. You're already having a bit of a problem there on crowd. Everything, boys and girls, we've predicted the downtrend, been talking about it for a while, and are you that surprised that we said all of the market is gonna get drowned? There are very few assets that will float, and they are meant to float in these circumstances, and these cost money, like the SQQQ, and costs to hold, and it's nauseating, if you will, to be in that thing to some people. So it's not for everyone. Brad gonna make Greg, you know. No, I love Brad. Brad is a superstar. Gene, as well. In fact, all of you nannies, hello, mama. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy if crowd is going down. Will we watch to get the full overview? Right, nannies. Don't worry. We're definitely gonna be hanging out in the Discord today, everyone. So I can cover it if you want to. There. Can cover whatever you want there, but really we're not seeing. I mean, we're seeing pretty much everything we've expected. We saw the market attempt that move towards the 55. In fact, failed before it ever got there. Just kind of on the way. We already lost momentum, and you can see what's going on. Because we said we have a little bit to squeeze. I mean, look at the hourly, Mama. Remember what we spoke about yesterday? But look, the hourly still has some more momentum. But factoring in the downwards action that we're seeing, having no gap for today, pardon me, it seems like we're gonna do what I said is if we're gonna squeeze a lot of that momentum and the market will correct upon it based upon smaller time frames. What will result in is never having the ability to actually make it to 55.84. We're gonna get stuck, on that bottom, magnetized to it, test it, and sorry, that went too far. But even if we're gonna go up, we're gonna go up back to 55 because we're gonna spend most of our momentum on doing these processes. And if we do, we're never gonna make it to the 55 because we're gonna run out, and by that point, we're gonna be already dwelling in overbought, hence needing to correct to the downside. And still, if testing 55, bringing us again down, and because we know what we're seeing again on the larger time frames, for example, the daily is the more negative price action. So it's not going to be all that surprising that what we're actually going to see is almost this, oh my god, down, sort of down, up, down, test, up, down into this, right? And testing, doing, so kind of moving another step to the downside, right? Which going to be unsurprisingly so, very similar to the larger trend we looked at, which is basically, well, I'm really exaggerating, that's just slippage. The trend is kind of here. So you can see that's roughly where the trend is. Those are various supports and resistances that come from before. Of course, the market can slip through, that's normal, but it's definitely not this one. It's not the 52 range, it's definitely more of that 51 range, you see? That's definitely a big difference there. Pam, 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 pam. Okay, we've done that. What else? What else? Lower lows, lower highs. Yes, yes, yes. Very correct. Very correct. Retaining the pattern. Very correct, Mama. You are on point. What? When crash? Gene, come on. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Gene, you madman. All right, another reminder before I go. Also, people that have not been here before, although it's irrelevant for some that joined, I know, but Academy is reopening. At least subscriptions. I mean, I'm gonna restart lessons over the weekend and all that wonderful stuff. Those who wanna subscribe, you need to DM me on Discord. You go to the Discord in order to join us all. You DM me there. We have a short call, Q&A kind of thing. I get to know you, get to know me. We establish a sort of common ground. We understand how things work, and if you like to proceed with the course, you proceed, and you become a lifetime member on our Discord as well, with all the benefits and Zoom calls and wonderful stuff. But that's only the cherry on top. Of course, then you have the investory channels open up to you, but more so, you also gain inevitably more access to myself, and you actually get to do the one-on-one academy that teaches you how to do technical analysis properly on your own without needing to rely on me. That is that. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That is true. I'm not forgetting anything. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. For today. We're probably gonna have another call later today, and towards the market close, of course. I'm glad I was able to cover this rather early. So there's that. Oh, I think I deleted the wrong thing there. All right, so let's see. Any final questions before I go? Brad, save you a spot. Someday, Brad, someday. All right, what else? We've covered everything. That's it, boys and girls. I think we're done for today. We're gonna meet up for the market close call or later, and that's it. I see no questions or anything. You have a wonderful afternoon, wonderful day in the market today, and I will see you in the later call. Bye bye, ladies and gents. See ya. Oh, yeah, don't forget to smash like, subscribe, all that great stuff.